Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Penfield Transportation Committee on Thursday, April 15th, 5 p.m. My name's Andy Moore, Chairman of the committee and Town Board member here in Penfield. I'd like to welcome everybody with us. We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. We've got Mary Sweeney, Lori Enos, Dan McCusker, Jason Ebbs, and Captain Alberti from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Also with us today is town staff Mark Valentine, who's town engineer, and Sarah Waterman, associate engineer. With that, I'd like to go ahead and call the order for the meeting, and we'll start with the approval of the minutes of the March 18th, 2021 meeting. Are there any comments or edits for those minutes on that meeting?
I make a motion to pass them, or to accept them as written.
Great. Lori moves and Mary seconds. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to committee discussion, agenda item number 3. Mark, we'll start with the Penfield Garden neighborhood speeding accident concern.
Actually, this one Eric took in. Eric Tate, Director of Public Works, is with us this evening, so I'll have him, since he took this one in, handle this.
Sure, thank you. So I was actually contacted by a resident over in the neighborhood, concerned about, a number of things, ranging from, some speeding, but I think his primary concern was some of the three-way intersections that do not have any type of signage, whether it be stop signs or yield signs. A number of the neighbors, as we have in other neighborhoods, either, are just becoming complacent and ignore them, or kind of driving, straight through, or frankly don't care. With that said, his initial request was to have stop signs installed, and as we've discussed during kind of previous meetings and other locations, Sarah was going to reach out and try to help see what we could come up with for any accident data within that neighborhood. I'm not sure if she got anything back yet.
At this time, I reached out but haven't received anything back.
Okay. So with that said, we're kind of still waiting on that. I'm not aware of any accidents or anything that's taken place. I know of one tree that came down in a windstorm last year, but other than that, I'm not aware of any accidents or anything that's taken place at any of those intersections.
Okay. So would it be best for this committee, since we're still waiting for some accident data, to hold off on any formal vote or recommendation until we get that accident data, maybe by the next meeting?
Yep. I think that would be best.
Would help.
And okay. I don't know, we were going to check, I don't know, Sarah, if you had a chance to check and see if we've ever counted Brentwood, or whether, that might at the same time put some traffic counters out there and check the...
It doesn't look like we have recently, so I think Brentwood would be good. And then you and I also discussed the possibility of some of those side streets doing 1 or 2 at the same time, just to compare that data. So we just started putting the traffic counters out this past week. So that can be the next one on our list.
Yeah, we can gather that data at the same time, wait, get the accident data, and then circle back at our next month's meeting and come back with some information for the committee to discuss.
Okay, great. If the committee members are okay with that, that will be our path forward for the next committee meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, great. Agenda item under number 3, we'll go with the second item, which is a stop sign request at Ashby Circle and Balmoral Drive. An update on that?
So we did put counters out there, and I'll throw it back to Sarah to provide the update on that. At the last meeting, this group wanted to get counts on what was coming in and out of the intersection. So we did deploy our traffic counters and have Sarah give you an update on those numbers.
So based on the traffic counters, going back into those 2 cul-de-sacs, there's about 1,200 vehicles in 1 week, and that equates to approximately 133 to Ashby Circle and 190 to Balmoral. this is what we would expect, and that's by day. That's what we would expect for that kind of area. There's 50 resident homes back there. It's nothing unreasonable. And then for the 85th percentile, we were getting 22 miles per hour on both the straight stretch as well as the turn for Ashby Circle. The speed limit back there is 25, so we're getting the range we expect. The only thing that we haven't received information on yet is accident data, just like the previous request, so that we're still waiting for responses.
Any comments, any questions from committee members? All right, does the committee feel that they want to make any recommendations, or did you still want to hold off until we get the accident data?
I think the accident data would be very helpful for making a decision.
Okay.
So I'd recommend holding off.
Any other comments?
Oh, that sounds reasonable.
All right, then I propose that we, again, hold this to the next meeting until we get some additional updated accident data, and then the committee can decide on the best course of action moving forward. If that's okay with committee members, we'll go ahead and move in that direction. If it's not, or there's other concerns, please let's voice them and talk about it right now.
That seems reasonable for me.
All right, not hearing any dissenters, I think that's what we'll do moving forward. We'll hold this action item until the next month's transportation meeting, and hope we get some accident data, and then we'll have complete information and make some decisions at that point. Moving on for agenda item number 4 under other business. The only one we have is continued Dublin Road speeding concern email.
Yeah, so Linda's passed along. We've received several emails with concerns, seems mostly on the weekends, with cars traveling excessive speed down Dublin Road. We've shared those with the supervisor and shared those also with the sheriff's office. And I think the most recent one, you saw the response from Deputy Thurston responding directly to that resident. So my thanks to Captain Alberti and to Deputy Thurston for reaching out to him directly. Whether he can identify the type of vehicle, time of day, something, as this committee has spoke about many times, the speed is posted at 30, and I know, we have had some conversations last week as whether that's an appropriate speed posted for the road, but obviously if somebody's traveling at 70 plus, that's not appropriate, for any road, and, it's an enforcement issue at that point in time. So, thanks to the sheriff's office for reaching out to him directly. Hopefully they can, garner some further information from him on that. We look back in our data, we've counted Dublin Road several times, so I don't know if there's anything new we're going to get out of counting it currently. But also at our last meeting, we discussed about deploying those new solar feedback units. So, I would propose, we'll work with Eric and his team of getting those installed, and then maybe waiting a month once those are installed, and then putting the counters out and seeing if that has any effect or what that effect is. So that's kind of what I offer up to the committee is, the last meeting we talked about possibly putting the counters back out, but until we get those installed, I don't know what new data we're going to collect off of Dublin Road, at this time.
Okay. Just for clarification, earlier, Mark, when you said you received a couple emails, were they from different residents or were they from the same resident?
Currently, and we've received from several residents over the years. Most recently, it's just one particular resident that continues to email. Linda's sent those out, and hopefully the committee got those. If you haven't, let me know. But she, I think, attached them along with, it's in the the Outlook or the calendar, attachment, so she sent those out. We've gotten several at a time, and then the next weekend, we seem to get, several group or batching of those. Again, shared them with the sheriff's office as well as, looping in the supervisors so they're aware of that resident's concern and, I'd say again, whether they can identify the time of day, vehicle type, whatever. I know it's springtime and everybody's dusting their car off out of storage and taking it out for a drive, but obviously we want people to drive safely and, everybody to make it home safely at the end of the day.
Hi, this is Captain Alberti, and yes, we did reach out to the resident who sent out a couple emails. We're waiting to hear back from him, so when we do hear back, we'll work with him and keep this committee in a loop.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Could I just say that I found those emails a little disturbing with the language and how he was talking. It almost sounded threatening. Am I the only one that viewed it that way?
He definitely has escalated his concern and his language, and that's obviously why we've shared it with the sheriff's office, and appreciate that they've reached out to him directly. I've only exchanged emails with him. I've never met him, spoken with him. I've offered to have him come and talk to this committee.
Right.
He's never taken us up on that. I've never spoken to him on the phone, so I've just exchanged emails with him. That seems to be his preferred method of engagement. But again, I'm glad the sheriff's office has kind of reached out to him and hopefully can address his concern directly.
So am I.
Yeah. All right. Well, Captain Alberti, we appreciate you reaching out to him and seeing what kind of enforcement efforts can help with his concern regarding speeding on Dublin. So the committee appreciates your proactive action on that matter. Thank you. Mark, is there any other action item pertaining to this subject that we need to consider? I mean, I think between the sheriff's office reaching out to the resident and trying to work with the resident on identifying times and types of cars and things like that, I think that's a great measure. I think you mentioned solar units to track speeding, then maybe putting some counters out there afterwards are some action items that we found successful in other neighborhoods in the past and certainly want to deploy them under these conditions. Is that what you're proposing for our consideration moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's our recommendation for a path forward at this time.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments from committee members on what is being proposed for us in addressing this matter moving forward? Is everybody in support of these action items?
Yes.
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 All right. Anybody against or have any additional comments or suggestions on action items?
Well, the only thing I thought about when I was reading the emails, he mentioned the speed. Do we know if he's actually clocking the speed or it just seems fast? Because
I don't know where he, I don't know what he's using to clock the speed. He says he's got some experience in the industry, so he's knowledgeable about it. Obviously, that's why we're looking also to deploy those feedback devices, and then obviously that's a standardized unit, and we can really see what's going on and collect that data, let alone give feedback to the drivers. So having the feedback units will keep the honest people honest. As you roll down that road, you're just not aware of how fast you're going. Obviously, if there's people that are looking to speed or drag race or something else, whether we have a feedback card or not, I don't think it's going to change that. That's where, hopefully the sheriff's office is involved and can issue some tickets and, through some enforcement will be the corrective action for that. But, having the feedback device that, it helps the people that just, you get rolling along, you're a little unaware, you see that feedback flash at you, you're going faster than what you thought, you can check your speed and, hopefully that'll lower the overall, speed on the road and hopefully then, slows everybody down a little bit and lowers the 85th percentile and hopefully has a calming effect altogether.
Okay.
Okay. All right, then I propose that we move forward with the action plan as discussed. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And
Aye.
anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 5. Any held items? I don't believe there are
Nope.
any held items. Action item, or I should say, agenda item number 6, new business.
The only thing I
Not
wanted to
seeing any.
I
Yep,
just wanted
go
to
ahead.
share quickly, and I know we're held for time, but one of the items of interest, and I think Sarah can share her screen, is we've brought up before, and the town board just took action on this last night, is on Scribner Road. And I know this group has had conversations before about parking along Scribner Road right by Greenwood Park. So one of the action items that the town board took last night was to approve a small parking lot on the north end of that park. So in yellow, as you can see on your screen, so Embry Road is to your south of the screen, Scribner Road running north and south, is to look to put an expanded parking lot on that north end. So Eric and his crew are going to install 28 gravel parking spaces, so they'll be seasonal, but it can serve spaces in the summertime. Once those are in, look to put no parking signs along Scribner Road, so to get the vehicles that are parking on the sidewalk, over the sidewalk, out of there. We had expanded the parking lot in the south a couple of years ago. I still don't think that has met the need, so that's why we're looking to put this parking lot on the north side. And just bringing it to this group's attention is, it was before us before. We talked about putting the no parking signs on Scribner, but then had concerns about pushing that traffic on, or those parked cars onto Thoroughbred and some of those side streets, and creating another issue where there isn't one now. So putting this parking lot in, hopefully we'll have some improvement to that existing condition.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. If there's any questions on that, please reach out to Mark or Sarah or with Eric. Item number 7, public participation.
I am not seeing any. I'm checking the web submissions and also the phone caller list, and I do not see any, Andy.
Okay. All right, thank you. Agenda item number 8, I guess, is coordinating our next meeting set for May 20th, 2021. So I think if there's anything that comes up from committee members between now and then, please let staff, Sarah, and Mark know that so we can make sure it gets on the agenda. Other than that, I think that ends the meeting at this point, unless any other committee members have any subjects they'd like to discuss real quick. All right, not hearing anybody. Thank you all for participating. Thanks those out there in Penfield watching. Please have a good evening. Be healthy and be safe. Take care.
Good night.